everyone. I am Dr. Oneeka Williams. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to the Ecosystem series. I am a healer, positivity catalyst, storyteller, and teacher, and I am super excited to come back to you today with another installment, another episode of the Ecosystem series. As you can tell, if you know me, I've been having a lot of fun with this series because ecosystem for me is, by definition, linked and interdependent. And we live in an ecosystem. And so I've been just enjoying the opportunity to bring just some of these backdrops with just the lush and wonderful part of our ecosystem, our earth, in which we're all linked and interdependent. And of course, you can tell I've also been having some fun with the style and bringing a different outfit every time with each episode. But understanding the importance of ecosystem as linked and interdependent and how that applies to an environment of learning, I think is really, really very critical to enhancing the way in which both our students learn, our children learn, and even learning within the work environment. In an environment of learning, it is really important to understand the components of the ecosystem that are integrally linked and interdependent. And I have identified those as 4 components. 1 is the academic and intellectual rigor. 2 is the development of the social component. 3 is the development of the emotional component. And 4 is the development of the physical and physiologic, being mindful of that component. And I've called this ecosystem of learning the Williams Integrated Educational Model. And really and truly, it pays homage to my parents who, my mother as an educator and my dad as a journalist, really created that ecosystem of learning for us that have contributed significantly to our success. And I am doing my utmost to pay it forward and to develop that same type of construct that can bless not only our children in their homes, in their learning environment at school, but also can be used across the board in workplaces and other environments. Any environment where there is learning, and we're lifelong learners. We are all lifelong learners. So this curriculum and this strategy, this ecosystem of learning shows up in any environment where learning is an ongoing process. Today we're going to be talking about the second S in ecosystem, which is stimulating and encouraging problem solving. Problem solving has been ongoing from Jump Street, from the beginning of the world. Think about the creation story. And God created man, and then he said, I don't want him to be lonely. Adam was lonely, and he wanted to create a companion for Adam. So he problem solved, and he created Eve to be a companion for Adam. So really and truly, we see problem solving as the very foundation at the beginning of the world was the problem solving. So problem solving is critical to being able to execute on our daily lives, and teaching kids the ability to problem solve is something that is extremely important. And so within our classrooms, we would like students to be able to identify the issue and to be able to come up with solutions. We want them to be able to internalize, to acquire the knowledge and apply it, to integrate the knowledge and apply it to how to come up with solutions. We want them to be constantly thinking about numbers of different ways in which they can address problems and then come up with a systematic approach to problem solving. Problem solving is not just simply, oh, there's a problem and I'm going to solve it. It is really taking stock of what the problem is, what are the sets of information and considerations that inform the problem, what are the options for creating solutions, and how does the knowledge tie into those options, and then taking it a step further. It's not just enough to come up with a theoretical solution. It is how do you then follow through and execute on the solution. Students are also encouraged to understand that Many problems are not simple, they can be complex. And so problem solving requires a multi-stage approach. There are many problems that you cannot solve independently. It requires working as a team and working collaboratively to come up with a solution. We also want students to understand that solving problems is not a microwave process, that there are many times that it can take an extended period of time, and one just has to develop the patience to be able to pursue the solution and not to give up. We also want students to understand that they are able to be in control of a process, and that even if a problem seems insurmountable, that they don't give up, but they actually are able to dig internally to pull up and muster that grit and that persistence and that determination. So in learning to solve problems, it helps to foster the characteristics of grit, determination, and persistence that are very, very important in a learning environment as we train students how to become not only lifelong learners, but become successful at whatever pursuit they decide to engage in. And what happens in an environment where students are not taught to develop problem-solving skills? They're impatient, they're impulsive, they're surface thinkers. They don't go below the surface. And as such, they become very easily frustrated. You see many of these students who don't develop their potential, who don't continue to grow and progress in a way that you can tell that they're actually taking in knowledge and processing it and then applying it to making decisions. Circumstances where students do not develop problem-solving skills, we see students who can become very pessimistic. They become almost develop a victim mentality of all of this stuff is happening to me, and they don't feel empowered to be able to come up with solutions, to be able to address whatever the challenges are that they are facing. And ultimately, what we see in these students is that they just throw their hands up, they give up, and they don't develop the skills to be able to be successful in life. And so focusing and placing emphasis and importance on the strategies around problem solving is extremely, extremely important. This is a part of my daily life. As a surgeon, as a physician, really, I'm constantly solving problems. And that requires that I am able to, number one, be a good listener. I have to actually listen to what is being shared with me to understand what the problem is. And so as we think about strategies and training our kids in problem solving, the first one is to be a good listener. If you are not a good listener, you cannot possibly understand what is being said, and you can't possibly identify what the problem is. The second thing is I'm able to do is once I listen, then I'm able to integrate that information into what I already know. Have I seen this pattern before? Have I encountered this type of problem before? Have I seen a patient with a similar presentation? What did that patient have? And so training our kids to be able to make the connections, not just to what they're being confronted with at that time, but processes that allows them to reach back and say, oh, what does this sound like? What does this look like? What have you seen this like? What have you seen before that sounds similar? And this is almost what we're calling in the Williams Integrated Educational Model, which is also known as WEAM. We're calling this the WEAM problem solver, which is the anatomy of a problem. Understanding what is the anatomy of the problem and how do you infuse all of these things that I've just mentioned in order to assess how do I approach the problem. Once you've listened and you've integrated the information, and then out of that you've been able to summarize the information so that you've almost told a story about what the information is that you're presented with, then you're able to extract the problem. And in extracting the problem, you can then list what are the possible solutions to this problem. You want to get into the habit of creating a wide range of solutions, not pigeonholing, not confining, not limiting your solutions to one or two, but think about the broad array of solutions. And then you subject those solutions to, is this a practical or feasible solution? But first, you must go through the exercise of identifying and listing all of the possible solutions before you can then either rule them in, rule them out, subject them to whatever the criteria are to determine, is this a viable solution to the problem? Dr. Didi Dynamo's first habit of positivity is that there is always a solution. You just have to work to find it. And so problem solving in the ecosystem of learning requires that we develop and we help our kids, we help our employees develop this mindset that there is always a solution. I am empowered in this environment to find a solution, and I am going to have a process by which I subject any issue that I encounter to, and feel that I am supported, because in solving problems, one also has to be comfortable asking for help, reaching out for resources, identifying all of the possible supports that can help you in creating solutions for that problem. And I am really excited to say that we are going to have all of these resources available to you as downloadable options so that you can use these strategies not only in your home, not only at school, not only at work, but essentially any problem that you encounter, which is really a daily experience of our lives. You can apply a problem-solving approach to how do I approach problems. So keep following along with us, keep listening, keep tapping into these episodes. Please let us know if you have found these insights to be helpful. Please let us know how you are applying them in your daily life, in whatever environment you are showing up. Please go ahead to our website to find additional resources, and please continue to follow the work that we're doing, because we really believe that this is an opportunity to help to create impact and make a difference in the lives of those who I personally am committed to serving. So thank you so much for tuning in. Share with anyone that you think could benefit, and please tune in next week, same time. Ecosystem of Learning, Dr. Oneeka Williams, over and out. Have a great day.